Imagine growing your own food, even if you've never planted a single seed. These 8 vegetables are so easy, they almost do the work for you. And by the time you finish this video, you'll know exactly how to go from seed to harvest with zero overwhelm. Welcome back, Purely Garden family. If you're new here, I'm really glad you found us, because today might be the day you finally start that garden you've been dreaming about. And trust me, once you taste your first homegrown vegetable, there's no going back. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you don't miss any of the beginner-friendly gardening guides we drop every day. All right, let's get into it. Vegetable number 1, radishes. Radishes are the perfect confidence booster for anyone just starting out, because they're one of the few vegetables that give you a real harvest in under a month. You plant them, blink twice, and suddenly the soil starts cracking because the roots are pushing up from underneath. They don't need fancy soil mixes or constant attention, and even if your spacing isn't perfect, they'll still reward you. Most beginners are shocked the first time they pull up a crisp, bright radish and realize it took almost no effort. They're the ultimate quick win, and that quick win is what keeps most new gardeners motivated to keep going. The planting process is just as simple. Radishes like cool weather, so early spring and fall are their sweet spots, and they're happy in raised beds, ground soil, or small containers. You just press the seeds about ½ an inch into the soil, sprinkle a bit of water, and let them do their thing. By day 5 or so, you'll see tiny green sprouts popping up. At that point, the only real job is thinning them, so each plant has space to form a proper root. Consistent moisture keeps them tender and crunchy, but there's no complicated feeding schedule or pruning. They grow quickly because they aren't picky. And here's the part that surprises most people. Radishes don't just give you a fast harvest, they teach you how to observe your garden. Within weeks, you learn what healthy growth looks like, how soil moisture behaves, and how spacing affects your results. They're a small vegetable with a big payoff, and that's exactly why they deserve the #1 spot for beginners. Vegetable number 2, lettuce. Lettuce is one of those crops that quietly transforms a beginner's garden because it grows fast, doesn't demand much space, and keeps producing for weeks if you harvest it the right way. Loose-leaf varieties are especially forgiving, and they don't require perfect spacing or perfect weather. Even if your garden gets a mix of sun and shade, lettuce will still reward you with soft, crisp leaves long before most other vegetables are ready. Beginners love it because it turns into a steady supply of salads without any complicated techniques. Scatter a handful of seeds, keep the soil lightly moist, and the sprouts will pop up in just a few days. Once lettuce is growing, it stays low maintenance. Morning watering keeps it tender, and if your weather heats up, a bit of afternoon shade prevents the leaves from turning bitter or the plant from bolting too early. As the seedlings grow, you simply thin them by harvesting the extras, which means you're literally eating your spacing mistakes. Container gardeners especially benefit from lettuce because it thrives even in shallow pots, on balconies, patios, or windowsills. It's one of the easiest crops to fit into tiny spaces while still giving you a satisfying harvest. The best part is the cut-and-come-again method, which lets you harvest outer leaves again and again without harming the plant. Instead of pulling the whole thing, you take only what you need, and the center continues pushing out fresh new leaves. This turns one small patch of lettuce into a long-lasting supply. When grown in cool weather, the flavor becomes even sweeter and crisper, and fall plantings are often the best you'll ever taste. For beginners wanting a steady, reliable crop that teaches good harvesting habits, lettuce is one of the smartest choices you can make. Vegetable number 3, bush beans. Bush beans are one of the most generous vegetables a beginner can grow, and they make you feel like an expert almost immediately. These plants sprout quickly, grow steadily, and don't need any special training or trellises like their pole bean cousins. You simply plant the seeds, water them, and watch them fill out into bushy, productive plants. They tolerate imperfect soil, inconsistent spacing, and the occasional missed watering better than most vegetables, which makes them ideal for someone still learning the basics. Even a small row or container can produce handfuls of crisp green beans every few days once they get going, which feels incredibly rewarding when you're just starting out. Caring for bush beans is also refreshingly simple. They prefer warm soil, plenty of sun, and regular watering, especially once they begin to flower. What surprises many new gardeners is that beans don't need fertilizer at all, because they naturally pull nitrogen from the air and store it in the soil. That makes them both productive and beneficial for whatever you grow next season. Pests are usually minimal, but if bean beetles show up, all it takes is a quick hand pick to keep things under control. With such minimal effort, bush beans stay healthy, compact, and focused on producing as many pods as possible. Harvest time is where bush beans truly shine. About 50 to 60 days after planting, the plants will be covered in firm, smooth pods ready to pick. As long as you harvest often, they keep producing more, and it becomes a fun routine to check the plants every couple of days and find new beans hiding under the leaves. Missing a pod or two isn't a problem, but picking them at the right size keeps the plant active and gives you the best flavor. For any beginner who wants a crop that's easy, fast, and endlessly rewarding, bush beans deliver exactly that. Vegetable number 4, radishes. Radishes are the ultimate confidence booster for new gardeners because they grow unbelievably fast and don't ask for much in return. From the moment you plant the seeds, they waste no time sprouting, often popping up in just a few days. Their quick growth makes them perfect for anyone who wants instant feedback or is still learning how to handle watering and soil prep. They also don't need rich soil or long sunny hours to thrive. As long as the soil stays loose and consistently moist, the roots swell up nicely, giving you crisp, colorful radishes in as little as 4 weeks. Another thing that makes radishes great for beginners is how easy they make spacing and thinning. Because they grow so quickly, it's simple to see which seedlings are strongest and remove the rest. This doesn't harm the plant, but actually helps you learn how proper spacing affects growth. If you're gardening in a small area or a container, radishes still perform well, and their shallow roots don't require deep pots. They also act as excellent companion plants. Many gardeners sow radishes next to slower crops because they mature so early. You can harvest them before the neighboring plants even begin to crowd. The real reward comes at harvest, when you pull up those smooth, bright roots and get a clear visual sign of success. Radishes are ready when the top of the root begins to peek through the soil, and harvesting is as simple as giving them a gentle tug. They're crisp, peppery, and perfect for snacking or tossing into salads right after picking. If you stagger your plantings every week or two, you can have a steady supply all season long. For a beginner looking for a fast, low-stress win that teaches essential gardening skills, radishes are one of the smartest vegetables to start with. Vegetable number 5, cherry tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes are a game changer for beginners because they are incredibly forgiving and endlessly productive. Unlike full-size tomato varieties that can be fussy and prone to disease, cherry tomatoes handle minor mistakes like inconsistent watering or occasional missed pruning with ease. Their small, sweet fruits ripen quickly and in clusters, giving you a visually rewarding harvest almost every week once they start producing. Popular beginner-friendly varieties include Sun Gold, Sweet 100, and Cherry Roma, all known for their reliability and flavor. Even if this is your first year gardening, growing cherry tomatoes provides a tangible sense of accomplishment and excitement as you watch dozens of tiny fruits turn from green to vibrant red. Planting and caring for cherry tomatoes is straightforward. They need full sun, at least 6 to 8 hours per day, and well-draining soil, whether in the ground or a large container. Transplant seedlings carefully and bury most of the stem to encourage strong root growth. Support them with cages or stakes from the beginning, water consistently, and feed with a balanced fertilizer once they start flowering. Harvesting is simple. Pick clusters when the fruits are fully colored and slightly soft to the touch. The more frequently you harvest, the longer the plants keep producing. For a beginner, cherry tomatoes offer a sweet, rewarding, and nearly foolproof way to experience a full summer-long harvest. Vegetable number 6. Cucumbers. Cucumbers are a fantastic choice for beginners because they're highly productive and can be adapted to both small and larger growing spaces. One of their biggest advantages is vertical growth. Vining varieties can climb trellises, fences, or even cages, which saves space and keeps the fruits clean and straight. For container gardeners, bush varieties are perfect, requiring minimal room while still delivering a steady supply of crisp, refreshing cucumbers. Beginners love cucumbers because they're fast-growing, forgiving of minor mistakes, and rewarding with every harvest. Plus, they come in different types, slicing cucumbers for salads and pickling varieties for preserves, so you can grow exactly what your kitchen needs. Planting cucumbers is simple but important for success. Sow seeds after the last frost when the soil has warmed to at least 70 degrees Fahrenheit, spacing them about 12 inches apart. They can also be transplanted carefully, but their roots don't like too much disturbance. Cucumbers thrive in full sun, and regular watering is crucial, especially during fruit development, to avoid bitterness. Mulching helps retain moisture and keeps soil temperatures steady. As they grow, watch for common issues like cucumber beetles and powdery mildew, but both are easy to manage with careful monitoring. Harvesting should be done when fruits are firm and green, before they turn yellow, and regular picking encourages the plant to produce even more. For beginners, cucumbers combine simplicity, space efficiency, and impressive yields, making them a must-try vegetable. Vegetable number 7. Spinach. Spinach is a standout for beginners because it thrives in cooler weather, making it perfect for early spring and fall gardens when other vegetables might struggle. It grows quickly, is packed with nutrients, and requires minimal fuss, which is ideal for gardeners who are still learning how to manage watering, spacing, and soil health. Spinach can be grown in both containers and garden beds, and it adapts well to full sun or partial shade depending on the season. For anyone looking to get a reliable, continuous harvest, spinach offers a steady supply of tender, flavorful leaves with very little effort. Planting and care are straightforward. Sow seeds about half an inch deep and keep the soil consistently moist to ensure strong germination. Thin seedlings to 4 to 6 inches apart as they grow, and don't discard the extras. You can eat the thinnings in salads or sandwiches. Spinach is heat sensitive, so it bolts when temperatures climb above 75 degrees Fahrenheit, but it tolerates light frosts, and cold weather actually makes the leaves sweeter. Harvest can start as early as 25 days for baby leaves or 40 to 50 days for full-sized plants. Using the cut-and-come-again method, you can continually pick outer leaves while leaving the center to grow, providing a long-lasting supply of fresh greens for your kitchen. Vegetable number 8. Kale. Kale is often called the indestructible superfood, and for good reason. It's incredibly resilient, thriving in heat, cold, and even challenging growing conditions. For beginners, kale is a dream because it tolerates a little neglect, pests, and irregular watering while still producing a bountiful harvest. It can be grown almost year-round in most climates, and its versatility makes it perfect for everything from salads and smoothies to sautés and soups. Popular varieties like Lacinato dinosaur kale, curly, and red Russian offer slightly different flavors and textures, giving new gardeners a chance to experiment without fear of failure. Planting kale is simple. Sow seeds about half an inch deep, either directly in the garden or in a container, spacing plants about a foot apart. It does well in full sun, to partial shade, and adapts to different soil types as long as it's well draining. Once established, kale requires moderate watering and light monthly feeding to encourage continuous growth. Pests like cabbage worms are easy to spot and remove by hand, making it manageable for beginners. Harvesting starts at 30 days for baby kale and 55 to 75 days for full-sized leaves, always taking the outer leaves first while leaving the center growing. One plant can produce for months, and the leaves actually taste sweeter after a frost, giving you a nutritious and resilient crop with minimal effort. And there you have it, the 8 easiest, most rewarding vegetables for beginners, from radishes that give you instant results to kale that keeps producing all season long. These plants aren't just about the food, they're about building confidence, learning to observe your garden, and experiencing the satisfaction of growing something with your own hands. Even if you've never planted a seed before, starting with these vegetables gives you a strong foundation and a sense of success that will make every future gardening project feel manageable. Now here's your challenge. Pick 3 vegetables from this list, get your seeds or seedlings this weekend, and plant them next week. Share your choices in the comments so we can follow along with your progress, and check back throughout the season to let us know how your garden is growing. If you found this guide helpful, give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any of our beginner-friendly gardening tips. Let's grow together, and I can't wait to see your first harvest.